welcome to today's video. This week Rachel and I are going to be showing you two different techniques for simplifying drawings. You'll see Rachel in a separate video. We're focusing on animals, pets and wildlife because those are things that we've been talking about in and amongst our group. Those of you who have had our art packs this week will have some simplified drawings that we've based on the photos that you've been sending us of your animals. Today I want to show you how I've drawn and designed this robin illustration, which I think would look really cute on some greetings cards. So for this I'm going to show you how I shamelessly trace the outline of the robin, and also how I made this slightly more abstract design where instead of drawing the robin in a kind of literal way, I filled in his outline using some different leaf shapes. And here's an earlier prototype that I did. Something that not everyone knows about me is I'm really interested in birds of prey. So this is a buzzard, and I've been seeing a lot more of them during lockdown. I'm not completely sure whether that's because they are expanding their territories and there's more of them about in places where humans are, or whether it's just because I've been at home more and in the garden looking up at the sky. But I love the fact that you can see these wild birds, even in a city like Birmingham, and once you know that they're there, they're quite easy to spot. When I was doing this design, I didn't have a really specific plan in mind, but I'm pretty happy with the way that it's come out. Buzzards are often stripy on the underside of their wings and their bellies, and I really like the way it's been possible with these leaf shapes to sort of suggest the stripes there without drawing them literally. But anyway, back to our robin. I'm going to go back in time now and show you how I made this design. For this I've used a pencil, a rubber and a plain old sheet of paper. I'm using this black marker pen, and if you've got one of our art kits you'll have one of these. It's the Tombow N15. You should have seen how excited Team Leaf were when we got these pens. It's also got that smaller nib on the end for more fine detail. I've also got some scissors, and down here I've got my laptop. I'm going to show you a cheat's guide to drawing using a laptop, a pencil and a plain piece of paper. This technique was definitely used by the old masters. I found this image on the BBC website. It's from a few years ago, 2015 I think it was. The robin was voted Britain's favourite bird, and we have been talking about robins in our group. You might have seen videos made by Martin, one of our participants, who had a robin's nest in his garden and he was filming the fledglings for us. So I brought this image up on my computer screen and I've got my plain piece of paper. Now watch this highly technical approach. I'm going to put that piece of paper over the screen. Can you see that? I can see the robin through my piece of paper, and I'm literally going to trace it off the screen. So probably the part that you can see the easiest is this white section on his belly. I'm literally going to trace around him like this. I was so pleased with myself when I discovered this technique. Here's his tail. I hope you can see that on camera. Another advantage of having the image on computer like this is that you can resize the image. I've used Microsoft Paint for that. It's not any complex software like Photoshop. But that means that whether you want to do an A3 size drawing or an A4 size, you can just resize your reference photo accordingly and then trace it the way that I just did. And that's a lot easier than if you were drawing freehand and you were looking at, say, an A4 reference photo, but you decided that you wanted to draw it A3 size, and then you were having to figure out for yourself what the proportions might be. Now for the next stage of this project, I've also brought up some pictures of leaves here, and I'm going to repeat the exact same process, but with these leaves. You'll be able to see them as they emerge on my drawing. I've got some different shaped leaves. And as well as different shapes, I also want different. So I am going to zoom out and trace around those same leaves but at a smaller size. And I'm going to zoom out once more. So that I've got some dinky small leaves to choose from. The next thing I did was to cut out each of my leaf shapes so that I can use them as templates. And that's how I created the effect here on this buzzard. So I think you can just about see a very, very faint outline of a robin here. And I'm going to take these templates, pop them on where I want them to be, and then draw around them. I would really recommend that you draw around your templates with pencil first before going in with pen. But I am going to go straight in with pen just so that you can see what I'm doing more easily, because I know that the pencil is very, very faint here. So I'm going to start with the largest leaves first and use them to kind of mark out the most distinct features of the robin, like his big round belly and maybe this wing here. I'm going to start by putting this maple leaf just underneath his chin, underneath his beak, and then I think I will use some of these large rounded leaves to describe the shape of his belly. And you know, with each of these templates, you can use them in any direction. You can flip them over, so they don't have to just be one way or the other. Okay, so with just 3 large leaves, you can already see the robin's round belly starting to take shape. I think I'll use just a couple more smaller leaves to finish off his underside, and then we'll get to work on his back and his tail. Where you find that the bird has some fluffier bits or maybe some spikier bits, you can use the shape of your leaves to suggest that. So down here, the robin's got some kind of fluffy, feathery bits down here around his legs. So I'm going to use that shape, because that sort of looks like the fluff around his legs. Hopefully you'll see what I mean in a moment. Okay, so I've actually started to draw in the leg there, and around the leg on a robin there would be some kind of fluffy tufty bits. So I've used those leaves to get that kind of tufty effect. Although I said that I would do the back next, I'm actually going to do a bit of the wing. There's a kind of pointy wing here, so it makes sense to me to use one of my more narrow pointy leaf templates and stick that where the point of the wing would be. So here he is, taking shape. I happened to look around and see this leaf on a pot plant nearby, so I went ahead and used that as a template too. So if you've got some plants in your house or your garden and you want to actually use those as templates to trace around, you can go ahead and do that. And so here's how he looks now. You'll see that I've left the leaf shapes quite simple. I haven't embellished them the way that I did with this other design. So it's really up to you kind of how much level of detail you want to put on. And with the drawings that we've been sending out in our art kits this week, you can use them as templates just to get you started off, or you can use the tracing technique that I've showed you today, or Rachel's technique for simplifying drawings freehand. And then you can embellish those drawings in whatever way you want to, if you want to add shading or colour or more realistic detail, or if you want to do a kind of abstract design similar to this. So as always, we look forward to seeing your creations, and we'll catch up with you soon. Bye for now.